recap of the EU sell that I took last Thursday and sort of show you how I built the sort of trade thesis from the daily down to the M1. So in the daily, very simple. This was the most recent boss. So that's your swing high, that's your swing low. This is strong because it caused the boss. This is weak because it hasn't achieved anything. We pull back to the premium, just about hit the premium in the leg, and mitigated this sort of buy to sell. And then you can see the bearish momentum kicked in. So at this point, once demand started failing and the internal structure switched bearish, it was always very likely that this weak low was going to be run and that any demand left, such as in this week, was only going to provide like a minor reaction basically to pull back to fill up more supply before the weak low gets run. So that's a daily. On the 4 hour, we're sort of within this range. That was the most recent boss. This was a strong high. This is the weak low. So again, we're expecting the weak low to be run. Pull back very correctively, but mitigated all this demand. So once demand started failing, it was likely we were going to get a very strong bearish move, because basically there'll be lots of stops behind these lows to be used as liquidity. So then simply mitigated the daily supply, and then basically internal structure in the 4 hour switch bearish, supply holding, demand failing. So it was all systems go to the downside. Here is where I took the sell from this sort of refined supply. This wick, we had a bullish 4 hour chalk, and this is something that previously when we had a bullish 4 hour chalk, I would have been thinking, oh, bullish 4 hour chalk, play the pullback towards the premium of the leg, blah blah blah. But given that we're expecting this week low to be run, it was always very likely that this bullish chalk was just going to fill up more supply, most likely within this wick, which is why I was sort of very much looking for sells. Now I was aware that right bullish 4 hour chalk, maybe we could get some buys if they line up in the M15, but it was always my favourite thesis that this week low was going to be run. So for the, you can see we mitigated that supply then. Yeah, that is the 4 hour on the M15 then. The M15 was technically bullish as we had this break of structure here, but again, it was always likely that the M15 just switched bullish to mitigate something on the 4 hour, and we had the refined 4 hour wick, so it also made sense that sales could play out from here. We had the refined sort of sell to buy candle there. That was the one I had initially drawn on. I didn't have this wick drawn on at the time, but I saw a decent amount of momentum come in the M1 on the entry model setup, and then I came back up to the M15 and saw that we had that wick, so it made sense as an M15 supply to support the trade. So I would have been happy enough, just on account of the 4 hour bullish chalk and the M15 boss, I would have been happy enough to look for sell or for buys from any of these POIs, because you can't discount the bullish boss and the bullish chalk and 4 hour. But my main theory was that the week 4 hour low was going to be run. So yeah, I would have been happy to look for buys from here, but I don't think any set up on the M1 then. On the M1, we come into sort of the refined M15 wick, and then you can see sweep of liquidity behind that high, mitigated the M15 POI, so you have mitigation, liquidation, V-shape recovery, chalk, and then that was basically a signal to enter. Now, basically entered an extreme. There was technically that flip there, but it was only an inside bar and it didn't sweep, so I had no real interest on entering on that, so he set me entry in the extreme, fixed 2 pip stop. The way I managed it was I took 25% off at 4 hour to remove my risk. And then I took the majority of the remaining volume off at 10 hour, which would have been there. And then I let the rest run to the week 4 hour and daily low. It was only 10% of remaining volume, but I think it worked out about 57 hour, so then it played out quite nicely. I'll just fast forward this now 15 to show you. As you can see, it sort of ranged around all morning because there was a big news announcement coming into New York session, but then hit the 10 hour, obviously left a fair bit of profit on the table there. But I like the mechanical approach to management of the 25% off 4 hour and the remainder off at 10 hour. And then if there is sort of clear higher time frame intentions, in this case the week 4 hour low getting run, then I'm sort of happy to leave 10% running just to target that there. I think it worked out at about, it was about 57 or once the week 4 hour low got run. I think that was it there. So yeah, 57.55 or now I only had 10% of that running, so I don't want anyone thinking that I'm a millionaire off this or anything, but it is nice. And like, if you can sort of, when you do get these sort of trades with clear higher time frame intentions in the 4 hour and the daily, if you can leave 10% running of any pro trend positions you get into, it can add up. Like, you know, if you had 3 or 4 of them running, like, it's an extra 15, 20 or for very little extra work. So it is definitely something that is worth considering if you don't already sort of target the week structure in the 4 hour whenever you get in pro trend. So that is pretty much it. It was a nice trade, I thought. Pretty clean entry model. M15 supply, 4 hour supply. So yeah, that's it. If you have any questions around it, just drop me a message in Discord or post something in one of the public channels and I'll get back to you. Thanks, guys.